Hey SB fam, welcome back to the channel. It's me, Bella the Steak and Butter Gal. Firstly, Happy New Year, Happy 22, we made it. And of course, Happy World Carnivore Month. So to celebrate all of these amazing things, for my first video of the year, I thought it would be perfect to invite back on my good friend, Coach Stephen Thomas. In this video, Coach Stephen will share daily hacks you guys can do starting now to improve longevity, get healthier, improve energy, mood, sleep, and of course, to effectively burn fat and increase muscle mass. Coach Stephen is an ex-bodybuilder. He is a personal trainer. He has worked with Olympic athletes, and he is also a qualified phlebotomist. His specialties are in obesity, diabetes, and the carnivore diet. So basically, Stephen is a walking encyclopedia for good health and a fit body. Watch to the end of the video to find out how Coach Stephen starts his day, his exercise routine, and also something he has recently been incorporating that has really increased his testosterone and muscle mass. It involves icing a particular body part. And yes, I'm pointing down there. You won't want to miss what he says about this particular hack that he's been doing every single day. So without further ado, let me invite on my guest, the amazing Coach Stephen Thomas. Hi, Stephen. Welcome back.
Hi there. Nice to see you. Oh, it's so good to be back, actually.
I'm so excited. So I've got a lot of questions for you. The first question being, with New Year's already here, comes the New Year's spirit and the desire to want to improve our life, our health, our energy, right? Get that fat loss going. So what are some daily hacks we can do starting now that will get us to those goals?
Ones I always recommend, which are completely free to you, so you don't have to spend any money. One is getting out in the morning and seeing some sunlight, just being out of your house, just making sure that you're out there. I think that's really good. Obviously, if it's difficult with a family, if you've got young children, try and get some natural daylight. So at least 30 minutes if you can. So that would be, like a New Year's resolution or a new you resolution. I'm going to get some more sunlight. Make a priority to get good sleep. There's a few things you can do to improve your sleep. So one of the things, and I've been guilty this year because of the online coaching, because of the world situation and the fact that I'm in the UK, but I have a lot of people in America that book me, and I'm doing very long days. So here it's 11:15 at night already, and I'm looking at a screen, which is not great before I go to bed. Mm-hmm. So I always try to say, avoid your devices, your iPhones, any mobile device or tablets before you go to bed. Try to not to take them to bed, actually, and prioritize sleep. You want to be restful. Try and keep away from the news, anything that triggers you, any sort of stress. Because sleep, it restores you and repairs everything. So if you can have a good night's sleep, then you will wake up, get out in the morning, have that sunlight. So those two things go together. I think also just keeping away from artificial light if you can, keeping away from screens. So I'm breaking the rule already. Giving yourself at least an hour before you go to bed where you're not on devices and you're not on tablets. You will see improved sleep if you keep away from those devices. Making targets. If you say, right, this year I'm going to be outdoors more, maybe every day I'm going to do at least half an hour. That's a target. And if you achieve that, and then you also get that lovely feedback of a bit of success, you set yourself a target and you've achieved it. It's just baby steps really to try and improve everything. Try and eat well, obviously keep away from processed foods in a box, things that are made in a plant. Maybe keep away from some plants. Try not to overhydrate, which is one of the things that comes up about 10% of the time when I'm coaching. I think people drinking too much water now. Mm-hmm. So their sleep is disturbed in the middle of the night. They wake up to urinate. If your urine is completely clear and you are urinating frequently throughout the day, you're probably drinking too much water. If someone said, my urine is very dark, then you do need to drink more. I think you just need to drink to thirst, make sure your thirst is quenched. Try not to have diet sodas. Try to drink water if you can.
You touched on a lot of great tips, but I would like to add one tip that I actually learned from you, from your brilliant brain of amazing tips for back pain. So I share all the time with Stephen that I have always suffered from lower back pain. I'm a pianist. I sit in front of the piano for hours. And then on top of that, I'm always editing or hosting these calls. So I'm always sitting. So I asked Stephen, what can I do about lower back pain? And he told me to walk backwards and also hang from a pole. So I would love for you to just share why that works so well. It has helped me so much.
If you watch professional sports people warming up, a lot of them will do a warm up that involves running backwards or walking backwards. It isn't that strange, really. In sporting circles, that happens quite a bit. When you're walking backwards, you're almost undoing any pains and problems with your biomechanics. There is some sort of technical reasons regarding the anatomy why it helps. There are ligaments that sort of go one way around the top of the leg, and when you walk backwards, it does sort of release some of that tension. But without getting too geeky and talking about physiology and biomechanics, the thing is, it works, and it's not going to cure long-term back pain that you've had for maybe 20 years and it stops you working every so often, but it could relieve symptoms of pain, and it is worth trying. And there has been some people with long-term back pain that it has actually reversed it, but I don't want to promise it. It's a really good thing to try. So just walking backwards, the hanging, you're just hanging from a bar, dead hanging, make sure that your feet don't touch the ground and just relax. That is really great for things like shoulder pain, overall strength, actually. It decompresses the spine slightly. When I first started to do this as part of a warm-up, I could hang for about 70 seconds. So that's good for your grip strength. You're just doing an overhead grip on a bar, and then you just dead hang. I found that 70 seconds go up quite considerably to about 150 seconds, sort of transferred into my other training because my grip strength had improved, my shoulder strength, actually, my core strength, because your abs are engaged as you're just hanging there. I found that my workouts really improved just from adding that one thing. So the dead hanging, I call it dead hanging because you are just hanging, can make a huge difference.
Excellent. So definitely try those 2 tips, those 2 body movements. It really does help. So next question, and this is quite a general question, but I get asked this question all the time. To burn fat, right? To promote fat loss, is it through nutrition or is it more effective through exercise?
You can lose fat with good nutrition. I think everyone knows you can't outrun a bad diet. Mm-hmm. So nutrition is the key here. So if you're looking to lose body fat, the best thing is to work on your nutrition, because you can lose body fat with just good nutrition. If you just exercise and eat terribly, you're going to have a horrendous time, to be honest. Your health is not going to improve. Maybe you'll lose a little bit of fat. Exercise is like the butter on the steak, really, because once you get your nutrition right and you see the fat coming off, that actually makes exercise more pleasurable because you just feel lighter and you feel more capable of doing things. But I think if you're looking to lose fat, the first thing you do, absolute priority, is sort out your nutrition. So again, go into the processed foods, get those out, the sodas, the diet sodas, anything in a box, anything that's processed. Things that are going to give you, an insulin spike, things that are going to make you want to eat again. So anything that's highly palatable, and make sure that you're feeling satiated, because all cravings basically stem from hunger. If you are not hungry, you tend to not have any cravings.
Exactly. And I would like to repeat that because those words are super key. If you have cravings, like Coach Steven said, that means you are hungry. That doesn't mean that there's something wrong with your body. That doesn't mean that your body needs that chocolate or that ice cream that you are craving. You are hungry for nutrients. So Steven said it very generally, but I would like to just take this moment to encourage you guys to give the carnivore diet a try. So I have viewers who come to my channel who have no idea what carnivore even is. And because we're celebrating World Carnivore Month, let's actually share some tips on how to start carnivore. So Coach Steven, if you don't mind sharing, how old are you? How long have you been carnivore?
When I was 50, I became pre-diabetic. I had a terrible CAC score, which is, a heart scan. For those that don't know, looks at your calcium. It was 639. Lower left quadrant pain. I was just getting plumper. And yet I was following everything that you should do. I'm a personal trainer. I don't smoke. I don't drink. I was having skim milk. I was having oatmeal. I was having freshly squeezed orange juice. Maybe in my 20s, I would get away with that. But as I got into my 40s, and I was running 10 miles 3 times a week at a really fast pace, and even doing mile sprints, those sort of things, I was getting plumper. That's when I went low carb. I saw improvements straight away. And then when I went keto, which is reducing carbohydrates even more, when I got to 55, I decided to go all in. It's really simple, carnivore way of eating. Basically any animal product. So you could have like beef, pork, lamb, so ruminants. Basically, you can have poultry, so you're looking at chicken, turkey. I like duck, actually, and lots of fish. You can have salmon, mackerel, tuna. So there's plenty of choice. Obviously, you can have eggs, there's butter, there's cheeses as well. You could transition by saying, okay, I'm going to take out the wheat, I'm going to take out the bread, I'm going to take out the pasta, I'm going to take out the rice, I'm going to take out the potatoes, and see what difference that makes to me. If you take those out, you will see a difference. You will definitely see a difference. You'll lose some water weight. You start to feel better. You probably have more energy because you don't have the spikes, the blood glucose going up but then crashing down. You can eat a lot of food when you start. You don't have to count anything. That's the thing I couldn't believe, actually, because I tried it when I was 55 for a month. I thought, I'd give this a go for a month. I'm pretty convinced by all the influencers, Sean Baker and Ken Berry, people like that. I thought I'd try it. So after 30 days, I was absolutely sold on it straight away. I was quite surprised how much I improved because I'd done so well on keto. My training improved, my strength improved. For the guys that are particularly interested in this, certainly at my age, at 55, I'm a qualified phlebotomist, so I was doing lots of bloods then, and my testosterone went up 30% in 2 months. And it was amazing. I'm not really into the numbers. I'm more into how you look and feel. I always say this for people that have bloods done with me. If you're not presenting with any symptoms, don't get too hung up on the numbers, because the numbers are just a marker. But if you, for instance, I have a couple of people that would be technically called hypoglycemic, so that you would think that they need to eat carbohydrates, but they're perfect. I mean, they're so active, they're out. One is very outdoorsy. She does a lot of working out, very, very low blood glucose, but it's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. So don't worry too much about the numbers, but obviously people do like to know about things like testosterone. So yeah, it was a 30% increase. Wow. But yeah, going back, carnivore is really, really simple, really simple.
Yes, it is super simple if you just stop overthinking it. And that's what Coach Steven and I work hard to do. We actually host together 30-day challenges every single month. You guys can work directly with Coach Steven, ask him questions regarding blood work, lab work, cholesterol. That's a very popular question that comes up. And we work hard to make it simple for you guys. So I mentioned cholesterol. Can you explain why cholesterol is not the end of the world when it comes to carnivore? Everybody always comes up to us saying, oh my gosh, my total cholesterol is through the roof. What do I do?
When people talk about LDL cholesterol, there is actually no such thing. Cholesterol is a molecule on its own, and the LDL is a low density lipoprotein. It's the carrier of cholesterol. So when they say healthy HDL cholesterol, that cholesterol is exactly the same molecule. It's just in a different carrier. So that's the first thing. So we need to talk about that for a start. It isn't really the cholesterol that people are talking about. They're talking about the carrier. So LDL is a low density lipoprotein. It's like a lipid phosphor shell that can carry the cholesterol, because oil and water don't mix. So the cholesterol could not go through the blood. So firstly, the terminology needs to be sort of looked at. So we're not really talking about cholesterol when we say LDL cholesterol. That's the first thing. Secondly, in 2018, I think the American Heart Association and a few studies said that cholesterol was not a molecule or not a nutrient of concern. So people are behind the science. There's been numerous studies, meta-analysis of people with all-cause mortality outcomes. So that basically means how long did people live before they died and what was their levels of cholesterol. And it does seem to be, when you look at, I think one had 168 different countries, the people with the low LDL cholesterol, they died younger. People with the high cholesterol, they lived longer. Nice. So the British Medical Journal have actually said that. The BMJ have said that the hypothesis needs to be called into question, because when you look at the actual figures, all-cause mortality, there doesn't seem to be a correlation. When you go to a doctor, in the UK, it's a general practitioner, and you've got to remember that they are mandated and they are told to do certain things. So part of what they do, the allopathic medicine that they are taught to medicate, they are actually mandated to say, if you have cholesterol over this level, you should be prescribed a statin, a cholesterol lowering thing. So they are just following orders, for want of a better expression. That doesn't sound particularly nice, but they are doing what they are told, and some genuinely believe that this is the best way to go ahead. I can put some studies your way, which you can put in the description box. There are plenty of studies that categorically say that you shouldn't be worried about LDL cholesterol.
And Coach Stephen, is there a simple tip that one can incorporate in their daily life that could make a huge difference in their appetite, their cravings, in overall health and energy?
Yeah, I think from the meetings, I've picked up that a lot of people are struggling with the sweet taste or even just artificial sweeteners. And that seems to be really causing problems. They're looking at a can of Diet Coke or Diet Pepsi or that type of thing.
Yes.
Or even things with stevia in or Zevia and all these sort of things, and thinking, well, this seems inoffensive. Why is this causing me a problem? And there's a couple of reasons. One is when you eat, actually, you get a response to what you're eating. So your body prepares you for a steak or prepares you for a donut, by making sure you can have enough insulin and getting your digestive juices going. So it's going to be the same if you've got a Diet Coke. You're going to expect sweetness, so your body's going to prep you up for a little bit of sweetness. So you will get some sort of cephalic response, some sort of insulin response to that. There are some other reasons. For instance, once you've got that sweet taste on your tongue, that can elicit a response as well.
Yes.
And also the fact that you are having something sweet can just keep one foot in that sort of camp of sweetness, and you might start to crave other things like donut or anything that's sweet, basically. Mm-hmm. So one of the things I would look at is trying to reduce any artificial sweetness in your life or sweet taste in your tongue. Try and remove that completely. So this is quite phenomenal, but it is true. Somebody local, she cut out 2 cans of Diet Coke that she was having daily. And over 6 months, she saw an extra 27 pounds come off. Now, that is phenomenal. It did show the power of this for that particular person. And I think everyone that we coach that gets away from sweetness, they do see that their weight loss, or their fat loss, I should say, starts to move again. They start to move the needle a little bit. But the biggest thing is the cravings. They feel that the cravings have really gone. If you're constantly having things that are feeding into your sweet addiction, you're making life really difficult for yourself. Whereas if you can come off them and think to yourself in a different way, today I'm going to have fats and proteins and drink water, and really be positive about it, much easier. So there's 2 tips for the price of 1. Think positively rather than the negative, and also try and get away from the sweeteners.
Something that always comes up within the community actually is, how do I get over my late night munchies for ice cream, for sugar, for carbs, right? How can I be free from food? It is such a popular and desired goal. And what you shared, it seems like common sense, but nobody really does it. They still cling on to their stevia. They still add it into their coffee. And that is probably what is fueling that need for more of the sweetness. So this is why I want to just take a moment and say, that last 5% of whatever that is not carnivore, cut it out. Just cut it out for 30 days, because I promise you, once you are adapted, it makes 100% of the difference. Okay, let's actually talk about supplements and electrolytes. What are your thoughts on supplements and electrolytes? Is it even necessary on carnivore?
There is a place for supplementation, but I don't think it should be the end goal that you're going to be eating whole foods and have some supplements. It should be exactly the same as way we look at medications. If you can do without the medications, that's great. If you can do without the supplements, that's really good. Our body regulates everything really tightly. So for instance, something like, magnesium, you will be urinating magnesium out every single day, but 120 milligrams of magnesium on an average person urinates out. So your body is saying, wow, we've got enough magnesium. We need to urinate some of it out to keep the balance right. Yep. So that would imply to me you don't need to supplement with magnesium. And also you can get it from salmon and mackerel. You can get it from pork. You can get magnesium from food.
Right.
But if you have, for instance, like adrenal insufficiency, where your adrenals are not able to produce enough cortisol and stuff like that, then there are some supplements that might help you in your transitional period. And there are some possibly you will need those supplements for long term. But the idea is that you are resetting your body like a reboot, really. And the more you eat a more natural human species-specific diet, basically, proper human diet, you will find that all of your hormones and everything, all your signaling will actually start to heal and work properly. So all that dysregulation will start to be behind you. So you will need to supplement less and less. I understand why people do it. I think with electrolytes, for instance, you have night cramps, you have cramps in your calf. Most people recommend magnesium because magnesium relaxes muscles. So it makes total sense. But we want to get to the point where the calf doesn't cramp in the first place. And that can be through nutrition, the correct hydration. Going back to what I said at the beginning, it could be that you're drinking too much water for some people.
Right.
When you drink a lot of water, you urinate a lot, you urinate out your electrolytes. And again, we have people with, they've had stomach surgery, or they've had, like a sleeve or something like that, leaky gut, and a supplement helps, or their gallbladder's been removed and they need ox bile.
Yes.
All of these things have a place.
Right.
All of them have a place to get you over a hump, get you into the transition. This way of eating can be quite a game changer, especially when you've done it maybe 20 weeks plus or minus 6. It really is quite different to how I've eaten before. And all the people I coach definitely feel better. The toilet habits are better.
Right.
The gut function is better. The skin's better. It's just endless, really, what improves.
If you are new to carnivore or wanting to transition into carnivore and looking for some electrolytes that are high quality and can help you smoothly transition, I highly recommend LMNT Electrolytes. This time I got their raw, unflavored, unsweetened electrolytes, as this is the only flavor they have that is not sweetened with any stevia. LMNT has a total of 9 different flavors to choose from, so it's great for kids, for family members, and for yourself. So this raw unflavored one is absolutely the most suitable one for zero carb strict carnivore, because it is just sodium, potassium, and magnesium in the ingredients. This is what the little packets look like. They are very travel friendly. You just open it up, pour it in your beverage of choice, mix it, and enjoy. So if you would like to try LMNT electrolyte sample packs before you commit to a full-size box, you can feel free to enter the URL that is on the screen or click the link down below in the description box to get a free sample pack.
Now let's switch to your fitness brain. You are a physical trainer. You've worked with Olympic athletes. You were an ex-bodybuilder. So I would first like to ask you the question of, if we want to lose fat, up our muscle, do we have to do weight training plus cardio?
Well, if you want more muscle, you do have to stress the muscle by lifting something heavy. Okay. That has to happen. You tagged in their cardio. Yes. You don't have to do cardio. If I want to lift something really heavy, I'm going to have to supply nutrients to say my biceps, for instance, using maybe a bicep curl as an example. If it's really heavy, I've got to get more oxygen to that area. I've got to get more nutrients. I've got to get more blood. If I'm doing a few reps, then obviously my heart rate's going to go up. So you get a cardiovascular workout even when you're doing weights. But people think of cardiovascular training, CV training, as standing on a treadmill, watching a TV for 30 minutes in the gym. Right. I was a middle distance runner, so I'm not anti-running, but I did it for different reasons. I didn't do it for building muscle. I didn't do it to lose fat. I did it because I've got a competitive side to me, and I liked racing. I like the races. To build muscle, you don't need to do a huge amount of time. You don't need to be in the gym for an hour. You could do 15 minutes 3 times a week, which fits in with sort of, guidelines that are well respected, well researched, yep. Which comes from the fact that you should do like 75 minutes a week. I do roughly a 12-minute workout 5 to 6 times a week and have 1 rest day. I always use this example when we're in our meetings. If you want your muscle to get big and you pick up a pen and you start lifting this little tiny pen, your central nervous system is never going to think that your body's under any stress. Mm-hmm. It's not going to say, wow, to lift up this pen, we need to make that muscle bigger. We need to make, the joints stronger. We need to improve everything because this is too easy. Mm-hmm. So when you work out, you have to stress your body. And people maybe get worried about the word stress, but that's exactly what exercise is. It's putting the stress on your body. Stress isn't always negative. You need to lift a weight that is quite difficult. There's a lot of talk about sets and reps. I tend to just do 1 set to absolute failure. So if you're doing a bicep curl, I think you should be doing as many full reps as you can, but also doing partial reps until you literally cannot move your arms. And then you are done. You're fatigued. Yes. And what happens? You get a training response. Your body thinks, wow, okay, this guy's an idiot. He keeps putting himself under stress. If he's going to keep doing this, we need to improve things. And then your muscle breaks down, comes back a bit bigger. And that's why you get bigger muscles, because your body is smart and it will respond. And exactly the reverse of that, people think that it can't be that simple. If you stop training, the muscle goes. Simple as that.
Let's talk a little bit about your routine. What is your morning routine like on a typical day?
Well, I don't have any hang-ups with breakfast. Breakfast is the most important meal of the day, was just a marketing campaign for John Harvey Kellogg. So we can forget about breakfast. Breakfast of champions is complete rubbish. Yes. If you wake up and you're hungry, maybe you should eat. If you wake up and you're not hungry, just listen to your body. So my day is not driven by when I'm going to eat. And that might be one of the biggest things that's going to change for people. Now, if you've got a family, things change because you might want to eat with your family. My working out, I've used to do in the morning fasted, but I tend to do more in the afternoon now because I find it so easy to not eat in the morning. Mm-hmm. So I do a bit of work, do a bit of YouTube, a bit of research. I do about 2 hours. I'm adding to my science degree at the moment. I'm adding honours, so I make sure that I do some reading. Make sure I get out. Mm-hmm. I try to walk for at least an hour, maybe half an hour, mm-hmm. if the weather's really bad, which tends to be here. And then I will work out. I log it all the time. I have a whiteboard in my gym just over there, so I always work out what my reps are and what resistance I'm using. I'll either do push exercises like a chest press is, as a push exercise, tricep, yes. And then I'll do shoulders and a squat. That's all pushing the weight. Mm. That's one day. Like I say, just one set, all to failure. I don't have a post-workout shake or a pre-workout shake. Nice. Your body is fueled by food. In this year, at 57, this has been the best results I've ever had. I actually put on 9 pounds of muscle. So wow. This has worked for me. It doesn't mean it's going to work for everybody, but it's definitely made big differences for me. That's the most gain I think I've ever made. Even when I did my bodybuilding show, that to prep for that took 3 years. I also, when I did the body composition thing, one of the things that I used to be a bit flippant about was the algorithm would also say, what is your metabolic age? And I would always joke. So when I was 50, I think my metabolic age was 44 or something. And I thought, well, this is pretty cool. When I do this every 3 months, and since I've been doing carnivore, that metabolic age has gone back. For a long time, I was in my 40s, according to this algorithm, even though I was in my 50s. And then I've got to 57, and the most recent reading said my metabolic age was 33.
33? Wow.
33. So that's sort of based on, muscle mass and bone density, height, weight, and a few other things.
Excellent. Now, I know that you recently incorporated something to do with icing a certain body part, right? I would love it if you can bring this up and share what it is all about and what results you've seen with it.
We talked about testosterone. I managed to get a 30% increase just from changing my diet. Now, I got to 57 and we were in a meeting, mm-hmm. and somebody in the chat mentioned that they were icing their testicles. Yes. Because they'd read that will improve your testosterone. Yep. Obviously, if you're male or if you have testicles, basically. So I privately messaged Raymond, Coach Raymond, and said, mm-hmm. wow, I have heard of this. Do you know anyone that's done it? And he said, no, I'm very interested. So I thought I would try it. And I know Raymond seemed very interested. So I have been trying that, and that's probably when you were talking about the routine. What do I do? Yes. I try to do that for half an hour a day at the moment. I want to give it a really good experiment, see if it's making a difference. Right. It has made a difference, definitely, because my reps have gone up, and I've even increased resistance on some things since I've started it. So you have to be a bit careful, obviously. The only thing you want to ice is that you don't want to ice your legs or other bits that are around there. Yes. It's quite surprising that particular area can take the icing, and if you do accidentally touch your leg, it's quite painful. If you leave it there during the 30 minutes, you'll get a burn on your leg, but you won't get a burn elsewhere on the area you're trying to actually ice. Looking at my actual performance, I think it's made a difference. But that's all come from the meetings. I mean, when we're coaching, I don't think anybody that I've encountered that coaches thinks they know it all. And I'm learning from my clients all the time because they try things, they hear about things I've never encountered or heard before. Mm-hmm. Constantly, the world is changing. There's more science, there's more things to learn about. And, just seeing it in the chat from somebody, I respected and thought, well, they're always putting interesting things in the chat. that might be something worth trying. So yeah, I do try that.
Bravo to you for being so open-minded and willing to actually try something. Let's finish up this awesome video with how can people get in touch with you? How can they book you if they want to work with you?
Well, I have a website, the UK Carnivore. I am on Instagram. So yeah, I'm the UK Carnivore. If you join Bella's challenge, I'm in on the meetings there, and then you can book as well via that.
Well, Coach Stephen, thank you so much for staying up just to speak with me, to teach the audience today. That was an amazing conversation. So thank you, Coach Stephen. I will see you in the meetings. Coach Stephen is part of the team of coaches in my monthly 30-day carnivore challenges. So if this is your first time giving carnivore a go, you can come and join us in the January challenge anytime throughout the month to get the guidance, the answers, the community you need to stay on track and committed to this diet. We will be celebrating World Carnivore Month by focusing on food freedom and fat loss within the challenge meetings. For more details and the sign up link, just check out the description box below.